The biggest benefit to going mobile for both public and industry, I think, is your ability to have more control over your schedule. In that you don't have to be at a specific place at a specific time to do this. It also means that the traditional old school management technique of making sure that people are in the cubicle at 8 o'clock and they're in the cubicle at 4:59 p.m., that doesn't make sense anymore. We really have to manage based on how much work somebody gets done as opposed to based on whether they're present or not. Okay, doesn't mean there's not face-to-face, but it does make it much easier for us to do things like attend kids' ball games and help out with our parents when times are tough for them, and they're ill. And again, mobile gives us the flexibility to take advantage of some of those opportunities without being completely unplugged from the organization. One of the most significant risks you have these days that you didn't have 10 or 15 years ago is the risk that you're going to display information that's confidential, that you don't want other people to see, and then you're going to have to tell people that information got displayed. So the problem you have with that now is that because of the laws across the country, you now have to comply with 46 state security breach notification statutes. And according to the Poneman Institute, the average cost per record that's released, that shouldn't be released, the average cost is a little bit over $300. Again, when we talk about everybody, so many times now, in our industry, we worry about the hard assets. We worry about our laptop getting stolen. We worry about our phone getting stolen. The asset that really ought to terrify you about mobile is the data. So you should have, things you could do to mitigate that. You should have two-factor authentication so that you have something you know plus something you have. For example, the RSA tokens that the banks send you, they have the 6-digit codes that you have to put in an additional username and password. Again, great way to give additional security. Anything you have that has business data on it should have some kind of management software so that it can be wiped if you terminate your relationship with the company. Or you should also have any data that you have on there should be encrypted. So you should have full drive encryption for your hard drive. You should have encryption of all data stored on your mobile devices, both tablets and smartphones. And you should have strong policies that require people to have passwords other than FIDO and the name of their kids and their kids' birth dates and things like that. So when you start looking at mobile, you need to make sure that it will solve the problem you're trying to solve for here. Okay, again, if you want to do cloud-based cost accounting, there aren't many solutions. That having been said, if you want to, you should consider the kinds of tasks that you want to do mobile, have a good plan for what you're going to do remotely, and then go and execute to that plan. Okay, so just because you can do things like take a picture of checks with your smartphone and make deposits of those checks, doesn't mean that it's a good idea for you to do that mobile for your business. Okay, again, for your personal life, makes perfect sense. That way you don't have to go to the bank. Okay, in your business life, it may make more sense for you to have hardwired hard scanners as opposed to trying to do it with somebody's smartphone, because principally most of your employees are using their personal smartphones in their business, and it doesn't make any sense for them to have business check information on there for your customers on their personal smartphones. So you need to think through the implications of some of the things in there and see if it's really a benefit to you or see if it's just a gee whiz, wow, I can do that. Final thing I'd say here, if you're trying to get started in mobile, is I would do a pretty good survey of what your regulatory compliance requirements are. HIPAA, Gramm-Leach-Bliley, Internal Revenue Code Section 7216, when you're putting data in the cloud. There are a lot of compliance obligations associated with mobile in the cloud, and many times many of the mobile services may not have the same level of thought to compliance that you and I do, because we live compliance as CPAs. So I would encourage you to look at some of the things, consider them, and then figure out how it makes sense. Okay, favorite apps? Obviously, I love as somebody that writes a lot for publications, I love all the online publications. So CPA Practice Advisor has an app for iPad and Android. There's an Accounting Today app. There's a Journal of Accountancy app. I guess my favorite mobile app for consuming information is probably Flipboard. It's not accounting specific, but if you haven't ever looked at it, it will allow you to take news off of feeds like Google Reader, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and you can go through and flip through it like a magazine. I would encourage you to check it out. It's available it's not available on Windows Phone, but it is available on iPhone, iPad, and Android tablets. Really nice app, and it's free. One of the organizations I work with, K2 Enterprises, actually offers courses through the Indiana CPA Society. We've got quite a few coming up in South Bend, Fort Wayne, and Indianapolis. I hope that some of you will be able to attend some of our courses and learn more about what's happening in the world of technology that directly affects you as a practitioner or as a manager in a corporate environment.